I doubt you remember Phoenix as I remember it. That mythic bird rising from the fire that leaves nothing but ashes and the hot wind that carries her skyward. Well, she caught me in her tailwind when I came to Phoenix one last time to rescue you from death. You went out there to find a dance partner and a job in a ballroom studio, but your dance card had already been taken by the drug king, and the slow dance of death you danced with him was all-consuming. Sorry. There wasn't time for a waltz or the cha-cha, only time for the next pill. The next line you could stand in to work the system, demanding they supply you with your medication. I came to Phoenix one last time to rescue you from death, like some human jaws of life, trying to snatch you from the unrecognizable wreckage of my little girl's life. I couldn't forget you for even a moment. If you weren't in my mind, you were in my body, pulsing through an old umbilical cord that was always beating behind my heart. It never stopped, day or night, waking or sleeping. Like the shadow of an amputated arm that itches and no scratch can relieve it, that umbilicus kept throbbing, unattached to the baby long gone from my womb, and the placenta still longing to feed her who no longer wanted to eat anything I had to offer. I didn't rest in any given moment. My alarm system did not turn off, and ironically, I didn't want it to. I wanted to keep on pumping blood and adrenaline into the phantom veins of that amputated arm. And so, when the bell went off that last time, I got on a plane to Phoenix again. I found you angry and menacing when I appeared at your door. You were not happy to see me. I remember climbing the unlit stairs to your bedroom, and I remember the back of your angry head in front of me. How you could see anger through the back of someone's head, I don't know, but you can. You were disgusted with me. You would not hear of detox, and you certainly would not come home. I called the police and prayed they would force you into treatment or even arrest you rather than leave you there in that coffin of a condo with its black granite counters. But they could do no more than I could. You had worked the system like a pro. You had real prescriptions, you were legally an adult, and you momentarily held the reins on your slurred tongue to explain politely and with great contempt for your overreactive mother that you were only taking the prescribed amounts of the drugs in question. Of course, I couldn't have known that it was in Phoenix that my own dance with death would come to a sudden end. You see, I had become a master at dancing with drugs myself. Let me tell you how that dance is done. You dance with a shadow. There is no partner actually there. Oh, I saw your fallen eyelids, your lost jobs and friends that disappeared. I saw the hours spent polishing little toes while the rent remained due, and each evening slipped into yet another aimless night. Of course I saw all that, but not really. I learned to live with the discrepancy between what is and what was supposed to be for my beautiful green-eyed girl with the Ivy League intelligence and the electrifying smile, without ever really admitting that that discrepancy was there. That's how the mother of an addict becomes sick. That's how I became sick. That's how my perception of reality got warped and skewed without me ever having to ingest a single mind-altering drug. Addiction alters everybody's mind. If you love an addict and you don't get a hell of a lot of help right away and every day, you might as well kiss your own sense of reason, intuition, and vitality goodbye. I kissed mine goodbye when you were 14, and probably long before that, but that's another story. It was in Phoenix that I noticed the backs of your ears. Your hair was in a ponytail, and your fragile ears stuck out through the wall of your drugged fortress like the last memories of a little girl in homemade dresses with pink and yellow and blue plastic barrettes and long brown pigtails. I remember looking at those innocent ears and grieving your loss as if I was already standing by your grave and the last bit of dirt was being shoveled over those barrettes. All the discrepancies I had lived with collapsed. There was not one spiritual practice that could have bought me a get-out-of-jail-free card on this one. Believe me, if there had been, I would have found it. Surrender was the closest I ever came to a path. In the purest place in my heart, in the only place that could think through pain, I tried again and again to agree to burn as long as God asked me to stand in that fire. Many years ago, I was blessed to be invited to a Lakota Sundance. The women did not pierce their chests or drag buffalo skulls from their backs as the men did. I was told that women don't have to do this because they give birth. I wept when I heard that. Well, Phoenix was the place of my Sundance. In Phoenix, I danced with your shadow one last time, drugs leading and me following. And as we danced our circles in the unbearable light of the sun, the medicine worked and the dance took me. I think it happened while we were walking through Whole Foods. I was leaving Phoenix without you, and I wanted to at least leave you with something to eat. At that moment, I might have been closer to death than you were. My spirit no longer wanted to hold on. It was floating far away and long gone from the material reality of food on shelves and well-dressed people buying organic lunches. And then out of nowhere, that great bird came and picked me up and flew me out of there and away from you. It took me home to my bed with its soft sheets and to my garden with its perennials that do come back to me year after year by God's grace. The thread that was severed was not the one connecting my spirit and my body, but the one lashing my body to yours on a funeral pyre. That great bird separated us so that benzos and painkillers didn't burn us both to death. Somebody had to be there when you woke up. And you did, of course, because here you are with me. Perhaps this very moment is why we came here together this time. For just this exquisite opening of a flower so long in the bud. You asked me if I would write the ending to our story, and as I think of it now, I know it is not about an ending. It is about a beginning. It is about a birth long delayed, now finally fulfilled. You know, they said you were breech, that I would likely need a cesarean if you didn't turn around. God, I didn't want that. And you stayed that way till the very end. But then in the 11th hour, what felt like a world war erupted in my belly. At the very last moment, you turned it around. You got your feet in the right place. Well, you sure looked breech there again for a long time. But true to form, honey, you did get your feet back in the right place after all.